Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tevora Talks. I am your host, Cash, as always, joined by my co-host, partner in cybercrime, Matt Mosley. What's up, Matt? How you doing?
We're still doing these things?
Yeah, I
Weird.
know it's been a while. Weird.
I
What did
think
you
it's been
say?
like 2 months since we did one.
We got to dust off the cobwebs, as you just said, right before we hit record. But we're back. The dynamic duo of cybercrime.
Yeah, we're back thanks to FireEye, but we'll cover that later.
All right, yeah, we'll cover that in just a moment. But yeah, good to be back. It is now December 9th, 2020. Holy smokes, the year has somehow come to an end. Um, Getting ready for this Christmas season, that's for sure.
Yeah, slowly but surely the year is coming to an end. I remember back in March, holy crap, time just stood still. And then now here we are, December.
I know. I feel like, you do get used to your surroundings, right? Or your environment. Because
Unfortunately, yes.
March took forever. March felt like a year. And I don't know, since summer till now felt like a couple weeks. And yeah, it's pretty crazy.
As a parent of two, and my kids are pretty young, but you know that line in Jingle Bells where I think it's Jingle Bells where it's like the parents are happy that school start again. Do you remember that? Like I
Vaguely.
understand that now. Like I can't wait for my kids to go
Yeah,
back to a classroom
that's funny.
and me be able to like just have my space without any screaming or growling. My kids are doing this like dinosaur growling thing. So anyway,
That's funny. My sister said something similar. She's like, I just can't wait till they can go back to school and teachers have to deal with them and I don't have to deal with them.
yeah, and just like that, I would just like to point out, thank you, teachers, for dealing with our kids for all this time, and the lack of appreciation you get from from the parents.
Oh, I know, I bet. Now you guys, it's like, what is it? You don't realize what you don't have or do have until it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of what you do and don't have, let's kind of get to what we wanted to talk about. I want to jump into it because there are a few cool things we're going to talk about. Number one is going to be Google and um, iPhones, right? We'll talk about how they're kind of related, but they're not. You'll see. Another one is zero click wormable vulnerability in Microsoft Teams. That's right. Matt, your favorite app that you
Yeah.
never get to use. Microsoft Teams has that vulnerability. We'll cover it. You kind of told me about it, so you got all the good insider scoop there. And drum roll, please. The highlight, the main attraction of today's story: FireEye got hacked. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, let's
So,
just start with fire. No, I'm just kidding.
so we'll kind of let the suspense build, but let's go into it, right? So what's up with this? How does Google relate it to iPhone hack? What's the deal, Matt?
Yeah, so Google has a team called, well, I don't know if their team's called Project Zero, but there is a department, Google Project Zero, which is composed of a bunch of white hat hackers, right? And their goal for the last few years has really just been identify these vulnerabilities that could potentially be exploited and report them and get them out in the open so that basically just doing a service to the community so that we can fix these issues before the bad guys get a hold of them, right?
Nice guys. Nice
And
guys.
this latest one was by Ian Beer, and this is, and I hope I'm saying that properly. It's spelled Beer,
Yeah.
beer, but
Ian.
you never
Yeah.
know with regions around the world. Anyway, this is a super impressive hack. Some people have said breathtaking. I don't know that I would call it breathtaking, but it is very impressive. And if you go look at his write up, I think that write up's like 30 something pages long. It's super long. And basically, he found a flaw in the wireless driver that's used on the phones. And in that flaw, you could do basically a daisy chain attack, but it starts with a buffer overflow of the
Right.
Wi-Fi driver, and then from there, I think it uses the AirDrop Bluetooth. There's a AirDrop Bluetooth vulnerability that you can do to drop information, drop pictures, all that good stuff. And from there, he was able to, in his demo video, grab a picture off of a iPhone in another room, and they're not even on the same Wi-Fi network. So
Whoa.
just having the being within proximity of the phone and being able to capture the network packets in the air, this person was able to exploit this and gain access. Now, it should be noted that this flaw was fixed back in May, and he's just now disclosing it. But in the Apple's rollout of their new iOS, whatever was it, like 13 something, back when they did the contact tracing, is basically when this got fixed. But if you haven't updated your iPhone, and we definitely encourage you always to be updating all your devices,
Yes.
all your software on a regular basis. But if you haven't done it, do it now, because this code is out there in the wild already. Like, Ian Beer put this up on his GitHub. People have access to this code now, and they could be using it in the wild. Now, there's been no reported evidence, no stories of anybody actually being attacked by this, but only a matter of time, right? As we see with other things that are disclosed in the public. So
No, I mean, it is pretty crazy. I was reading Ian's write up, a little bit of it. It's like you said, it's a lot of pages. It's many, many lines of just fascinating things. I was just telling you earlier, I'm like, I don't know what particular training you go through, or schooling, or I don't know what it is, but to be able to figure out how to put all of these issues together to make this crack happen is pretty amazing to me. So I feel like if you have the time and you're really bored and you love computer tech stuff, read this guy's write up. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat, man.
yeah, he actually walks through kind of the tools that he uses, how he, got to the conclusions that he got to, how long it took him to develop. I think it was a 6 month process to kind of figure out what exploits he needed to daisy chain together to get this attack to work.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
for
a
sure.
lot of work,
A
a
lot
lot
of
of
work.
dedication. I don't know that I personally have that level of dedication
Yeah.
to something like this. I definitely don't have the skill set for this. But overall, just amazing work and well done, Ian Beer. Sorry.
But yeah, so for those of you listening out there, don't freak out. It's like not gonna happen like in one episode of Mr. Robot. It's this guy has been working like day in, day out for how long? Like you said, 6 months. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And
your
on that
next
note,
door
I
neighbor
just
is
want to
not gonna
talk
be let
about
off.
Mr. Robot for a second.
Yeah, yeah, let's
It
do it.
was a great show.
It is a great show.
But there was an episode in that show, and the one thing I loved about it was that it was pretty realistic, for the most part. I mean, like, honestly, the collaboration that they had from their security experts that walked them through was also impressive. But there was one episode where I think the bad guys had, like, whoever the protagonist was, I can't remember his name, but they said, "Oh, we need to hack our crime boss out of jail," right? And they're like, "You have to
Uh-huh.
do it," and they're like holding a gun to his head or whatever. And he's like, "That's not how it works." He's like, "I got to sit here, I got to find flaws in the system. It's going to take me months to figure out how I got to get in
Yeah,
and get this guy out. It doesn't just happen within 24 hours. It's not
yeah.
like Swordfish, right? Like, if you've ever
I
seen that
mean,
movie. And I think I loved that was kind of the part where I just really loved that show, was that he did provide that kind of realistic perspective for us, is that it doesn't
yeah.
just work like that. And then the way he got in was, I think he went up to some guy in a patrol car, a cop in a patrol car, and then through like a Bluetooth hack was able to get into that guy's system, and then from there pivot into the prison system. I don't know, but pretty good stuff. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check out Mr. Robot.
Yes, I have watched it. I like Mr. Robot. It is cool stuff. I think I'm gonna go watch it again. I haven't watched it in a long time, and I want to see if I can pick up on any cool lingo.
Yeah, I never finished the last season. But anyway, what's our next story?
What's the next story? The next story is about Microsoft Teams, right? You were
Oh,
telling me about
Microsoft
this.
Teams.
Yeah, this is what is it called? The no user interaction is required exploit. So
So I'm a Windows fanboy, not a Microsoft fanboy, but I like Windows. I've played with all the operating systems, so don't come at me like, oh, Linux is better, Mac is better, whatever. You got yours, I got mine. And they all have their pros and cons.
Eh.
So anyway, with that said, I am not a fan. Not not a fan of Microsoft Teams.
Can you tell us why? Every time I say something about Teams, you always make a small comment
It
about
just
how much
doesn't
you
work
hate
right for me. I don't know what I'm doing. It could be operator. I have no idea. But
it.
holy crap. Even today, I had a meeting in Microsoft Teams and it wouldn't even load. I had to just dial in. So, yeah.
That's
Good.
fun.
Again, it could be OE, could be operator. I have no idea. But, anyways, with that said, so a couple days ago, it was disclosed that there was a zero-click remote code execution bug found in
Mhm.
Microsoft Teams desktop app.
Okay.
And what essentially it was a cross-site scripting flaw that was wormable and could basically attack the user and other users within the same channel via a JavaScript remote code execution exploit. And I think that's pretty impressive. I think it's obviously very dangerous and it has been since patched. But Microsoft only paid out like $3,500 for this attack to this finding.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, that guy
And
definitely should have asked for more money on that one.
right. Like, I mean, I remember back when Facebook first started doing bug bounties and there was like a XML entity injection where the guy was able to on like a Linux machine, he was able to have the XML come back with the Etsy password file and they gave him 35 grand. And I remember doing a pen test and doing the same thing. And I'm like, damn, I should have done that on Facebook. Just could have got 35 grand. And anyway, but I remember, they basically classified that as remote code execution and gave the kid $35,000. And here's Microsoft giving this kid or this person $3,500. It's a big discrepancy. And this is wormable, right? Like this could affect every user in an organization or a channel,
Oh
at the
yeah.
like,
Imagine having like, I don't know, end of the year recap meeting, 200 people in the chat channel.
yeah, it's just crazy. But this guy's name is Oskars, Oscars, I think,
Okay. Yes.
Vigaris, and he's a security engineer from Evolution Gaming. And apparently, this guy just targets chat apps because he found a flaw back in August for Slack, and he also found a flaw for Cisco's Jabber back in September. So,
Interesting.
um, if you're a chat app, be on the lookout for that guy. So,
Oscars. I wonder why he targeted chat apps. Like maybe that was his thing. Maybe we should call him. We can ask
yeah,
him.
I think once you find a flaw, the same kind of like business logic is present in similar apps, right? Like there's a message, there's a recipient, there's someone who's sending something. Once you find that one flaw, you can probably apply it to the other apps that are very similar. And I think that's all he did here, but definitely pretty interesting. He has a cool video how he does it with Burp Suite. So
Yeah, he has a big report here. I don't know. We'll put a couple of these links up if you guys out there want to go, really dig down the rabbit hole. Boom. Here's the link. But
I mean, it affects all versions of Microsoft Teams, right? So it affects the Linux version of Windows and Mac OS. Like it's pretty impressive. So
but you said they did patch it recently, right?
they
So
did, yeah, back in November actually. So
so
before this
assuming that,
article came out,
but Teams does it patch need to be local on the machine or is it on their side?
it is local on the machine.
So assuming everybody out there that's listening to us is patching your systems, nothing to worry about. But if you haven't, I don't know, click patch some
Exactly. Well, again, just patch your stuff, right?
stuff. Yeah. Speaking of patching stuff, I don't know. That has nothing to do with what I'm going into, but
Let me hear this segue.
I tried to make it smooth. I couldn't on this one.
Keep your
FireEye.
eye on the
Oh, here I
ball.
go. Here I
Speaking
burned
of
it.
eyes.
I burned it. Okay, we could do. Speaking of eyes. Anyway, FireEye, dude. FireEye got hacked. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's the talk of the town.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. I had every single person in our organization text me or call me or email me about this hack. I had friends on Slack tell me about this. I had I had my own brother texting me this morning like, "What's going on, man? What are you guys doing to prepare for this?" um,
Yeah, I've seen it, right? Like Slack messages here and there, email couple here and there.
yeah.
Even one of my friends that's not even in like cybersecurity, he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, I read this thing about some cyber company. Are you guys hacked too?" I'm like, "No, man, it's not how it works."
Yeah, I think the most important thing is well, first of all, let's talk about FireEye. FireEye
Yeah,
is
let's do it.
not your like Joe Schmo cybersecurity company, right? FireEye makes a great product and they have a great team. And they have some of the best, in fact, in the industry, right? Especially when they acquired Mandiant. So this is not, someone dropped the ball and wasn't watching the network when this
Yeah,
activity happened, right?
yeah,
This took a very sophisticated attacker to come in and get what they got, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But let's talk about this attacker. So, based on what we know from reports that have been given to us and disclosures from FireEye, it was APT 29, also known as Cozy Bear, right? So they're part of the Russian intelligence team. Even though Russia pretty much remained, I think, a little silent during the election,
uh-huh,
um, that we know as of right now, they were still going after various targets. We heard about recently APT 28 targeting the Norway Parliament and stuff like that. And so these guys, they collect a paycheck. They're working 9 to 5. They got stuff to do. Obviously, they're going to be working this entire time. They're not just taking the day off. So they hacked FireEye, and we're still trying to find out what details on how they got in. I highly doubt it was through an external vulnerability in the network. It was probably through like some very clever social engineering. That's hypothetical, just assuming. But let's talk about what they got, right, and what they didn't get.
yeah. So I
They,
read they got some tools, right? They got some red team tools. They
yep,
didn't get any kind of data breached or anything like that from what I've read and seen.
correct. Yeah, absolutely, 100% correct. We know based on just reports right now, and this may change later on because this is still obviously a developing story, but we know that no customer data was touched or stolen or anything like that. At least that's what we've been told. And that, yes, these are red team tools. Red team tools are hacker tools used by FireEye's security experts during their pen testing and red team services that companies buy. And what these tools are just basically tools that like help me and Cash gain access to a network, right? Or once we're in a network, we use these tools to help us pivot or gain credentials or do some sort of task for us, right? And based on what I've been looking at and based on reports, none of these tools have 0 days, right? None of these tools have any unknown exploits that we're not already aware of, right? These are just tools that their red team used to help them do their job more efficiently or help them do pre-scripted tasks through automation, right? And so the nice thing about this is not only did FireEye come out and say, hey, everyone, we got hacked, and this is what you need to know. But FireEye also released signatures for all of these tools that they had, stolen.
Right.
And they don't know, I think they're probably still investigating what was taken and what was not. But rather than determine, this tool is taken, this tool isn't taken, this tool isn't taken, they're going through and they're just saying, hey, here's our Yara rules. Here's our ways of detecting all of the rules that are all the tools that we use. Right. And I was going through that list and I was trying to kind of figure out, what are these tools doing? Like how cool are these tools that, FireEye had? And it looks like they've really kind of developed their own tools based on other known tools that are out there. For example, there
Yeah,
was
such as
safety cats, which is already available to anybody who wants to get it. But FireEye apparently used safety cats in combination with some of the custom programming that they did so that
uh-huh.
they could use a variant of Mimikatz, right? Because
Yeah,
Mimikatz gets detected pretty easily, but apparently Safety Cats was the one that
goes undetected.
hasn't been widespread and kind of still flies under the radar.
I
So
see.
they're using that, yeah. And there were some other ones too. It looked like there was one called Corehound, which I would imagine probably does something to, has something to do with Bloodhound. There was another one that was like a FireEye Trojan um, that they had developed. I think it was called Red Flare or something like that. But once you looked at the signatures and the commands that they were flagging on, it's really just gathering information about the system. It wasn't actually doing any kind of exploitation. So it's probably a tool that the hacker, once they gain access to, leaves behind for persistence and then can call upon to, gather more information about surrounding systems or stuff like that. So
Mhm.
I think kudos definitely goes out to FireEye. I think everyone needs to kind of reel back the paranoia a little bit. It's not far fetched that these advanced persistent threats, APT 28, APT 29, these teams, they get paid to do this, right? This is their job. They live and breathe this. They are sophisticated and they are advanced and they know how to hack security companies like FireEye. We're all susceptible to it, right?
Oh yeah, and
Yes.
I'm sure they have like some serious backing, right? If they need it,
Oh, I have
you
no
know.
doubt. And again, Fire has some of the best guys in the industry or best people in the industry working for him. So this definitely must have been pretty impressive for them to gain this much access.
Oh yeah,
And
I
we've
mean like
worked with other people, clients that are like, well, I got this tool and I got this tool, so there's no way a hacker could get in. And that's why we do what we do. Like if tools worked 100% of the time, we wouldn't have jobs in incident response, right? That's just how it is. And
yep,
I
there
think
would
the
be no
more
hacking
people
issues ever.
accept that and more people accept that, like, it's not a matter of if I get hacked, but when I get hacked, we're all going to be better for it. And so again, I would just want to say kudos to FireEye for coming out and saying, yes, we got hacked. And kudos on top of that for saying, here is 300 countermeasures you can throw in your environment to help protect you from our tools that may be used against you. So I think everyone just needs to slow down, slow your roll.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I guess it seems. Fortunately, like no client data or anything like that has been taken. They said the tools are still working for their clients, so no service issues or anything like that. It seems like it was just like a very targeted attack, right? There, whoever was doing it maybe make a point because FireEye is saying it's like a nation with top tier offensive capabilities, right? So for them to make that kind of statement, whoever was attacking them had to be the big guys. So,
Right.
and again, right, more conversation, like always signs point to Russia for some reason, right?
Russia, China, Iran,
Yeah,
two big power
exactly.
or the
Exactly
three
what you
big
see in the
powerhouses.
movies is exactly what is happening in real
I mean,
life.
supposedly North Korea hacked Sony, but I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Rowan
You can
Reed.
listen to that on another podcast.
But nonetheless, FireEye, they're still breathing. Their stock got hit a little bit. The news came out yesterday. Stock got hit about like 10-15%. I'm sure they're gonna recover.
Yeah, it
I'm
was like
still
what, 50 cents a share, something like that.
no, it went down, I think, couple bucks or something.
Uh,
I think it was like 15, so 15%. Yeah, about a couple bucks. But nonetheless, hopefully they rough it out. They'll be back in action. Let's see exactly what the cause is. I wonder if they're ever going to release a statement and say this is exactly how we got hacked. Because I would love to learn from that and see, hey, what are these nation state style actors really doing? So
yeah. Oh yeah, it'd be definitely interesting to see what what comes out of this and kind of what the indicators of compromise are,
yeah,
which we'll hear about right eventually. The FBI is currently working on it. FireEye partnered with the U.S. Cyber Command and also Microsoft to help with the investigation. So, and they've got Mandiant, that they purchased a couple years ago, which are some of the best investigators in the biz. So, uh,
yeah.
it'll
So it's a
we'll
team.
see
It's a
some
team
cool
of
stuff coming out of this.
it's a team going after it, and it's, I guess, right. They all want to learn from it because if it could happen to one of them, they're all in it together. Um,
But FireEye, if you need Tevora support, give us
yeah,
a
if you
call. We're
need
available.
of
Put me
incident
in, coach.
response, Tevora, You let us know. I'll put you in touch with one of our fantastic project managers. Make sure me and Matt have an open schedule. But yes, we'll make sure we help you guys out.
And I'm not a FireEye fanboy, but I just want to say this, that uh, if I was an organization, this would not stop me from buying FireEye product. And I'm not doing that to help them out or anything like that. I just want to let people know that I honestly feel, as a security expert, that while this hack is uh, huge in terms of, it was I mean, a Goliath in the security field.
Yeah.
Um, and definitely took some skills to hack. I don't think it's that big of a deal, right? They lost some red team tools that help them do their job better, but nothing that, it's not like the shadow brokers hack or the NSA's Eternal Blue tool that got leaked.
Yeah.
Like those were huge in our industry. Those opened up some doors that we didn't even know were unlocked. Right. This is not opening up doors that we didn't know were locked. This is basically just making it more efficient to open the doors, is all. So
I just feel like the big thing is, oh no, the big guys got broken into. That's all that, is sitting with everybody on every level, I think. So, but
yeah,
fortunately, nothing was taken.
I
That
think
was
it's just a more of a reminder to be vigilant, right?
Yep.
And I think it's everybody in the organization, from accounting to security, needs to be aware, and security awareness. I'm again going on the assumption that this was some sort of sophisticated social engineering attack, but uh, honestly, that's what we preach, is that every single person, you could have the greatest tools, you could have the greatest alerting. As one client says, if someone coughs on the network, they want to know. Um, yes, that's all great, but none of that matters because we have humans that interact with how things work. And when
Yeah.
you have legitimate users, um, you know, when you have attackers using legitimate user access, it's very hard to determine what's nefarious and what's normal day use. So
Yep. Hiding in plain sight, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep. Living off the land, using the things that are integrated in Windows and Mac and what other platform are out there, all that good stuff. So anyway, it's all about security awareness.
so just be on the lookout. If you see something fishy, tell somebody. Don't click
See
on the
something,
wrong.
say something.
Yeah, say something. But with that said, Google, the hacker that fixed that issue for iOS, shout out there. Um, the zero click wormable RC vulnerability, Microsoft Teams. Thanks for fixing that patch again. Another one of your patches added to the list. And FireEye, good luck to you. Please let us know what the final conclusion is. With that, I got nothing else for you guys so far. Matt, anything?
Stop bothering me. No, I'm done.
So till next time, thanks for listening in. Check out all the links we're going to put: how to find me, how to find Matt, how to find the stuff we talked about today. And FireEye, last chance. Let us know if we can help. We'll be there for you.
After this, our offer is off the table.
Yeah, it's off the table. That's it. But signing out, we'll be in touch. Till next time.